everybody. On today's episode of Madge Unmuted, we discuss 90 Day Fiance. Hey, I didn't plan the whole episode to be about this, but Chris and Fitz have no idea what it's about, and boy, did I learn them. So stay tuned we got Chris Marcotte and Scott Fitzgerald on today's episode of Madge Unmuted. Coming in, the water's fine. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Madge Unmuted. I am your hostess, Madge Madigan. Welcome. So glad to have you here this week.
Yippee!
And
Wahoo!
that is always my lovely and talented producer, Fitz.
Hi guys, what's happening?
And we've got the gang back together. This is Chris Marcotte, who
hey.
we missed for. We have missed
I feel
you
dusted
terribly.
off. Am I dusted off?
Oh. Good. You are.
Yeah.
You shook out the
cobwebs.
Just. Exactly. Chris is back again. No, one of my favorite guests, an all-time favorite third wheel, and the gang is back together.
Nice. Yay.
Chris Marcotte's here. Yay.
And
hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, so nice to see you.
Through the wonders of technology, we're he and I are in the same place, but
We are.
off.
We're adjacent.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, we're adjacent. I can't see him,
Okay.
but I know he's here. Yeah.
I'm on your. I'm slightly behind you now. That's strange.
Oh.
Wasn't expecting that.
Okay, we're all so I'm down in Dunkirk in my house,
Chalet.
and those two guys are my Swiss chalet. I love their steak, and
You still have those?
Chris,
I don't think
And
so. We're in the
I think
studio.
in Canada.
We're in the basin of Bushnell, and you are in the Kirk of Dunn.
this is true. Chris and Scott are at Rock Fox Studios.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Where magic happens.
Where magic happens.
Yes, it is.
And Madge
Speaking
sometimes
of
does
magic,
get muted.
What?
And sometimes Madge does get muted.
My God, it's going to be one of those days. So it's been a hot minute since you all know that I moved down here, and Chris lives in in between Rochester and Buffalo.
Yeah, in the Field
in
of Oaks.
Batavia.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, in the Field of Oaks. Yes.
In the Kirk of Dunn.
And Fitz is still in Rochester, and we are just having a ball. I have something funny because I was wanting to run some stuff by, because Chris and I don't hang out nearly as much anymore. So I was trying to kind of plan something, not nearly enough. And I was trying to plan something to talk to him about, because after having Bill Moran on,
the Moranimal
2 weeks ago, yes, and I was on his podcast last week, Billified.
Oh, cool.
yeah, I got to listen to that.
And it was really interesting. It was really kind of heavy, but so anyway, what the fuck is that? Oh, so when he was on mine, he was talking about, like, he liked to write things down and go by different angles, and I'm like, I just go by the seat of my pants and talk about whatever the fuck I want.
You're right.
I know, I do, and hope they don't get in a bunch. So I asked Chris if he watched reality TV, and he does not.
I know.
Except
I think
his
my response
QVC
was
count.
not even once.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
I'm
proud of you. That's
see
an
those
accomplishment.
golden bachelors and bachelorettes and all those
I
other
hate
things
that
too,
stuff.
And I'm like, ugh. And the Kardashians, I can't keep up with them. So.
Oh, no. Well, that's why we have Keeping Up with them, so you can.
I can barely keep up with me.
I know. I more watch, like, I watch some of the Housewives, but they're, like, even getting old. I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
Literally. But speaking of that, they're like my age, and I've been going on TikTok a lot more often, and every time I go live late at night or do a dance, somebody creeps in and calls me Granny.
Oh, whatever.
TikTok trolls?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
TikTok trolls? Is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
When you're on
They call
TikTok,
you
they
granny?
call you a granny?
Yeah. They're like, oh, nice try, Granny, or go to bed, Granny, or whatever. And it's like,
so
They're going to be
That's
old
supposed to be an
someday. And you
insult.
look
call me in 10 years when
I
you're
know.
old enough to vote. Or
right.
drink
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. Oh, geez.
It's a 13-year-old?
I'm like,
Big deal.
who the hell knows? I'm like, is that supposed to be an insult?
No.
Go fuck yourself. I don't care. Quite honestly, I wish I was a granny.
I'm going to sneak
Kids,
into
get
your
to work.
room when you sleep and murder you.
Right.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
Is there a Housewives of Dunkirk? Because if there is,
There should be.
There should
I've
be.
brought it up, and there really should be.
there totally should be.
Even though I'm not a wife or a house.
You live in a
wife.
house.
You're not a wife
I do
or a
live in a
house.
I was gonna say
Granny's a Dunkirk.
that doesn't. I wish I had a grandchild, but you know,
You will. You might even have some that you don't know about.
Exactly.
There is
Yeah.
that possibility.
So, Jack did get around. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding, honey. Love you. So I wanted to tell you, okay, this might make it more funny because I have been really kind of slightly obsessed with this 90 Day Fiance on TLC. And these people are just dumb as a bag of wet hair.
I mean,
And either that or, okay, it's some very finely crafted scripting.
editing. Yeah,
and
scripting and
editing.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure
That's
it is.
probably exactly what
but-
it is.
Yeah. But
Because those editors
some
are
of it-
masters.
yeah, they are.
Right, Fitz?
And so I wanted to read you some of these situations and maybe tell me what you think they would do or whatever, and then I'll tell you what's
What they really
actually
did?
going on or something of that nature. Okay. So, or tell you if you think they're as big as idiot as I do. So there's two shows going on right now. One, and quite honestly, I don't know what the difference of the names are. All I know is one's on Sunday night, one's on Monday, and one seems to be 90 days the other way. Ooh, there's a little buggy in here, and the other one is like not 90 day before the 90 days.
Is it like the 90 Day Fiance or something like that? Or is that what you're talking about?
Well, it is, but there's all these.
But then they have
different,
spin-offs? Like
sub,
spin-offs?
yeah,
Like
all these
prequel? Like a
subgenres.
prequel? Like before the 90 days? Is
90
that what
days
it is?
before
Yeah.
I met you?
or some or for the first meeting, and then there's the 90 days while you're waiting for your visa, and then there's like
Your
90
visa.
days happily ever after, not the visa bill, the K1,
Oh,
and
my
then there's 90 days after the happily ever after, like after they get married, to see if if it implodes and they get divorced.
90 days after waiting for the test results.
Oh,
90 days, yeah, 90 day. No, 90 day, same as cash.
right.
No interest.
You don't pay the interest for 90 days.
Like a firm. Yeah, right.
Exactly. So anyway,
Is there big money
So
in this
there's one-
stuff? What do they win? Do you know?
no, there's no winning. It's
Well,
not.
they
a
don't get it.
contest.
They
It's
don't.
just
They don't get money
it's-
or anything.
no. It's
They
just,
just get the bride or
chronicling their. And I think I think what the thing is like you get to be on TV,
Probably.
and I think some of the people you get paid like after the fact,
Sure.
and then there's you get some deals out of it and
Yeah.
shit, or some of the people have become kind of personalities and they get to do stuff, and then they go on all these spin-offs.
An
like there's this-
endorsement deal
there's
with
this-
My Pillow.
I know. Oh,
an endorsement deal with Smith and Smith divorce attorneys.
I know.
And so there's another one now, 90 Day Fiance Last Resort, and it's they all go to this it's like marriage boot camp.
Like Tropical Island
Last
or
Resort.
something.
It's like they all put them up at this resort for
To
a
see if
couple
they
of
can
where
save
they
their
go-
90-day
I-
relationship.
they go through all these this
For God's
therapy and shit.
I'm looking for the 90 Day Fiance Trump version. You've been deported
You've been deported.
Sequel.
Oh.
You've been deported.
That's coming
just
next
like AOL.
on this. Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Maybe now after that, there's going to be more of the 90 day the other way.
Yeah.
Oh
Instead
my
of,
God.
Because the first one focused 90 day was just like people coming here from some other country, and then they did the 90 day the other way. Because it was kind of like ha ha ha! Look at somebody from another country who doesn't understand the language.
Oh,
and the
that's
customs.
the one where we were talking about where the was it the woman just decided to up and move to Ireland or something? She told her kid, "Oh, by the way, we're moving to Ireland." He's like, "What? What are you talking about?"
So that one's kind of blown up in her face. But so then there's 90 Day the other way, where like there's people from America that go abroad to live with
someone they just met.
Someone they met. Or they met online. Not just met.
What could go wrong?
They met online. I know they met online.
Oh,
and
so they did.
So
it's not like they were.
Right, like an online relationship. Some of them for like 5 years before they met or whatever. And they're like calling themselves in a relationship. It's like you've never met this person. And so they're in a relationship, and then they finally meet each other. And some of these people are just so fucking stupid. Like, okay, that's like a good segue to get into one of these first couples. So this one, the girl's name is Tigerlilly.
Oh.
And the guy's name is Adnan.
Who was it?
Oh, I guess.
What was the other one?
Adnan.
Oh.
Adnan. And
Adnan Khashoggi.
She's got this really annoying voice, or she's probably like 40. I don't know. She has like a kid, and she's from, I don't know where, somewhere in the States, and he's from Jordan.
Oh.
Guess where that one's going? So she's all, I love him so much. They hadn't even met in person, and they were already like engaged. And like the first day that she was getting off the plane, they were doing this. Some of these countries have like 7, 8, 12 steps to getting married. And so they were doing the first step the day that they got off, which is like signing a book or something.
Is he Muslim?
I was just going to say yes. So he is he's Muslim. And she is like so white, she's translucent. I don't even know, obviously she grew up in some
Southern
Christian
Baptist. Yeah.
Exactly.
She's a pescatarian.
And so she gets there, and first thing he's like, oh no, cover this up, and I can't hug you and I can't kiss you. As soon as he gets off the plane, and he's like, I can't, and like, you have to walk 10 steps behind me, or no, I don't know that, but I mean, it was pretty much like, don't touch me, don't kiss me, don't, and they go right in like, they can't even touch, even in private, I guess. So then they go to this thing, sign this book, and then all of a sudden they're married. And then I guess they can touch, but not in public, or so, I don't know. So he's all of a sudden like, you got to cover up all your shit, and you can't be alone. Oh, so this girl is really
sounds enticing.
She's what?
That sounds enticing.
Right.
Yeah, and so she's very, very made up head to toe. Like, she takes a glam squad with her everywhere she goes.
Yeah, and now she's going to be wearing a hijab and
cover up all that beauty.
So, right. So she can't even, like, it's all like, the long fake fingernails, she gets her hair done every time she she's like, every time she goes out of the house, she has to get hair and makeup done professionally. So then she goes there, and she brought her glam squad, which is a man and a woman, and the guy's gay, but this Adnan guy throws a fit, telling her she can't be alone
with him,
with a man. Yeah, since she's a married woman.
Wait, so
even a gay man.
I have a lot of questions, but maybe they're stupid questions. But so no, this is
these people
like
are
the
really
show.
stupid,
the show pays for all this. I'm assuming, like the show paid for the woman and her glam squad to go over to Jordan. And
that's my other thing. I don't know what this goes back to what we were just talking about having, what's in it for them.
Yeah.
I kind of think that they probably helped pay for the trip. I don't think they paid for her glam squad because nobody else. Some of these people have their shit in a brown paper bag, and she's all like
she must have money then or something.
She's in her Prada and Versace. She's sweet as the day is long. She's not pretentious, but this girl is naive. But so she's got all her shit on, all her designer shit. So she brings these people with, and he's throwing a fit. And she's like, but I can't. Like, he does my hair. What difference does it make? And he's like, no, you don't understand. This is my way. This is my country. So then all of a sudden, so he's like, the first thing is tonight. And it was, I guess in Muslim nations, or maybe his is just, I know there's varying degrees, but with his community, it's all about him. They were calling it like celebration of Adnan or festival Adnan, all his friends. And he can go out and have this big, huge bachelor party and she can't do anything. She can sit in her room alone.
She was happy about that. How are you going to show off your makeup?
Right. And she's like, I that's not very fair. I'm like, girl, did you not study? Did you not learn anything? Obviously not. Either one, she's playing, they're playing this up.
Yeah. They want her to seem like she's, yeah.
Right. But also, if you were going and is she that stupid? She just doesn't know the differences that, women, for the most part, have absolutely no rights and it's all amends.
You live in this country, right? Right? You
Who?
Madge, you live in this country, right?
Yes.
So you're asking whether or not she's stupid.
No.
Well,
sorry. So she actually went to Jordan then, not here. They're not here. They're there.
Right. She went to Jordan to marry this guy.
Yeah.
And
she planned on staying there the rest of her days. Or were they coming back to America to try and emigrate or,
Oh, he's definitely not coming back. Oh. He's definitely not coming here. She's going there, which I find hilarious because, okay, so let me go on.
Which world is Jordan? 1, 2, or 3?
I don't get that.
Third world, first world, or second world? Like Jordan, what is that considered? Is that considered a second world country?
First world. No, I would say first world.
Really?
Are they
like
Saudi
Arabia? Oil money.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. It's
I think they're wealthy there.
I mean, because Iraq has a lot of oil money too, but I wouldn't call that the first world.
No, Jordan, I'm pretty sure.
Jordan's nicer.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's, yeah. I mean, I hate that I'm not informed, but my notion was that it was a pretty modern country, but it does have,
very strict,
like any.
Yeah.
It's very strict Muslim culture, and it's all dudes. Yeah. So they go through all this stuff, and it's all like she can't even dance with him at their wedding. It's this big elaborate thing, and they can't. Like, I saw another one where they're in India, and they have huge elaborate 3-day things as well. But in the more modern societies, they can dance and shit. So anyway, she can't even they can't touch or anything. Then, okay, so as it goes along, she's saying, why can't I be with him? And it's like, girl, did you not know? And then she's like, well, I don't think that's very fair. And so she can, right.
Yeah, so there is no fair in Jordan.
Right, exactly. So she thinks we're going to have to talk about this. I'm like, girl, there ain't no
You're already there
this.
now.
I don't.
And now they kill you if you leave. So yeah.
Right. So, but she was scheduled just to be there for that and then come back. I guess go back to the U.S. and then wait. So then they're talking on the phone, and she's back in the U.S. and he's telling her that she can't go to the chiropractor because it's a man. She can't go to she can't have any male doctors. She's got to change all her doctors. Her doctor, her hairdresser. Like, now she went to see the hairdresser again. She can't give him a hug. She can't be alone. They have to. She got
whatever.
And she's like, hey, I don't think this is very fair. We're gonna have to have a talk. And then he's constantly telling her about, you can't post this online and you can't post that. You can't show your, you can only show your eyeballs. And so then he posts a picture. I guess he does some modeling. Oh, also, he's like 20 years younger than her.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, I know.
Just keeps getting better.
I know. And so he posts a picture of like a steamy, just getting out of the shower model thing on Instagram. And she's like, what is this? I can't post anything. He's like, no, you cannot. He's like, I can and you can't. She's like, oh, we're going to talk about this, and then she gets on the plane and then they get there and she's like, he's stewing and he's like, oh, hello, my oh. So here's the funny thing. She goes over there purposely to make a baby. This was a making baby trip. So she's over there she goes over there for just like a week because, he must have a child.
Baby. Yeah.
Yes, a baby. And she's already got 1 or 2 kids.
She's in her 40s?
So, or late 30s.
How long is she staying there?
Around 40.
Yeah, right? Because
right.
Hey, weekend, his chances are not very good.
I know. So I'm like, I know. Did you take an ovulation test before you went?
Your baby's going to have 3 heads.
Exactly.
And one of them's going to be Jordanian.
So he's like, oh, we must get to the baby making. She's like, no, I need to discuss some things. I don't think this is very fair. And he's like, but you don't understand. This is the way it is. And she's like, that's not going to work for me. Or you need to do this and you need to do that. I'm like, girl, he ain't doing shit for you.
How much?
He might.
How much do they go into the backstory of these two? Do they just like pick it up where it's like, hey, these two are?
No, they'll sometimes have
together.
Like in all these shows they do a confessional.
Yeah,
which
the interview,
they'll interview them, and then usually in those times they'll the person will go into their backstory. So, and then sometimes they might say he told me some of this, but I just thought it was what I don't know. Whatever.
So they actually met online and were having an online sort of thing ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shared some sexy memes, and that was all she needed.
He probably showed some modeling shots, and she was like,
I'm telling you, it's very obvious some of these people that all there is a physical attraction.
Yeah.
That's
right.
it.
Well,
and
he's 20 years old. So, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Right. She wants a boy toy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, she thinks he's so handsome and I'm in love. So yeah. So she's saying, this has really got to change. I'm like, girl, there's no change.
Molly, you in danger, girl. Right.
Yes. Oh my God, that threw me. So he's like, okay. He's like, I will not be doing this, and whatever.
And
so for 2 minutes, he's like, okay, whatever. So he can start banging her, and he's got all the cliche shit with the candles and the rose petals and all this stuff, and it's like he's like, now we must get to the baby making, and I'm like, oh, you're so romantic. And so then that was the last I saw of that one. But I just like that she thinks she's being a strong, independent woman and speaking up and setting my boundaries, and I'm like,
yeah,
there are no boundaries.
You're in the wrong place for that.
Right.
If you were in Shy Light, maybe. But not Jordan.
I'm like, you're going to be walking boundaries over into the stoning pit.
And once there's a baby involved, the baby he'll just keep the baby and she'll be beheaded.
I was going to say, girl, once he gets that baby,
beheaded.
He's taking him, and you're
and you
out.
will be, never seen again.
So I feel so bad. But then again, she's just not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Do you think all of them are like? I mean, can any of them have half a brain in their head to do this? I mean, do you think they're just doing it for notoriety, or?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, do they really not have a clue, or is this all kind of played up?
I do have some insight on this. There is a whole process that these production companies go through when they bring people onto the show, and it's like many stages, and they know full well that they're picking the dimmest bulbs. I mean, they know, like, this person is really going to look like an idiot. That's going to be great.
Right.
Someone who could be manipulated, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
The most drama,
or
the most shock.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. And some of these some of these people are horrible. Okay, case in point. Let's move on to the next one. So we're all in agreement that she's just Tigerlilly is about as dumb as a plant.
It can't be her real name, is it?
Dumb name. I think sometimes they make up names, but I've heard a couple of kids' names.
Yeah, because that's from like Peter Pan, Captain Hook.
Yeah,
Tigerlilly.
You know, do you remember?
What makes the red man red?
Yeah, that's right.
Can't say that.
What's his name? Bob Geldof from Boomtown Rats. I believe one of his daughters was called Tigerlilly.
Well, that's Bob Geldof.
And I know, that's what I'm saying. And they were born in the 80s or late 70s. And
70s.
His daughters are Peaches, Tigerlilly, and Trixabelle, I believe.
Pocahontas. Trixabelle. What a tragic thing to do to your kid.
I know. So
I knew a Trixabelle on Times Square.
Oh, jeez.
But anyway.
Was she in a peep show?
She was.
So
like pint-sized pepper.
$700 in quarters.
Oh my God.
You know what? My other thing though is like, I don't know. Just going back to these two morons for a minute. I mean, lovely people. If he's the part about, we said he's going to snatch the baby and keep it.
Yeah.
But the fact that, and I noticed, I know a lot of, Persian people and Middle Eastern people, and they call themselves brown. They say we're brown people. And so you're going to have this half Caucasian baby that's like translucent. I thought that was kind of frowned upon.
Oh,
like they like
right.
pure
babies. Yeah.
No?
They want to keep their...
So there's an element of essentially racism there that
yes,
they're very strict about being with their own and not
and does she have to convert?
Mixing into
right.
So she's gonna have to convert, and that's always fun.
Yeah. So a lot of these people
hopefully they follow up on these people before she's...
That's what all these other
beheaded
franchises are. 90 Day Fiance, stoned and beheaded.
I know. That's right.
So some of them are interesting. Like I love the mixing of culture when the people are not fucking stupid. Like there was a really interesting one where it was a gay couple and the one guy who was from the US and he was probably our age. And then the other guy was from Mexico and he was like in his 30s. And sweetest people. And I never heard the whole backstory, but he somehow has a child. And he also seems to not have barely any Mexican accent left whatsoever. So I don't know if he'd been living in the U.S., whatever, yada, yada, yada. But it was, and the guy had been married and has adult children. The guy from the U.S. was married and had adult children, and it came out later in life. So, that happens. And so maybe both of them had to happen. But anyway, so it was really interesting, though, because the guy from Mexico, that's not, he was a strict Catholic guy from Mexico, and that was going to be a whole issue of what his family was going to think. And for some fucking odd reason, the guy from the U.S. wanted to go live down with him in Mexico. I guess maybe
before
because
the
his
wall
daughter
gets built.
I know. Here, I'll give you a boost.
Now that might actually happen.
I'll give you a boost.
Right. I mean, these guys, they started like few years ago. So, but still, I think it was during that administration. Anyway, so that one was interesting. The guys were both smart, but it was like trying to navigate.
Yeah, that intercontinental
that culture,
thing.
accepting. Yeah. So okay, let me go to another one. So speaking of fucking horrible people. Yeah, this girl, her name is spelled Rayne. Guess how that's pronounced?
Jeff.
Jeff.
I don't know. Rainy?
Renee.
Right.
Rayne.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Renee. Is she British?
Rayne.
No, she lives in New Mexico and breeds chickens. And she's really weird. She talks like this. And I almost kind of wonder if she's kind of on the spectrum, but she's another one. She's like in her 40s, I guess. And I think she has kids that are maybe teens or something, 20s. And she's always like, nothing ever works out. Everybody treats me so bad. They're all, they ended up being drug users and abusive and, and it's all of their fault. They all did this, and she gets abused so bad. So she'd been in a relationship for 5 years, or online relationship for 5 years with this guy named Chidi, Chidi, and he's
Chidi Bang Bang.
I was gonna say, where's Chidi Bang Bang?
I believe he's in Nigeria.
Oh, Chidi. Nice.
Oh, I get emails from him all the time.
I know. Or some, in close proximity African nation, but I'm pretty sure it was Nigeria. And I get kind of lost
5 years.
Where these people are all exactly from. I'll get like the continent, and that's about it, and the country. But anyway, so he's also blind. So he's 25 years old, and he's blind, and he like lives with his sister who is married, and her husband and a baby. So they get there, and
so she goes to Nigeria, or he comes here?
She goes to Nigeria, and she's all like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get down, baby." And he's like, "No, I am very strict to my." He's a Christian.
Yes.
He's like, "I'm staying very strict to my religion, and I don't want to have sex before marriage." And she's like, "What the fuck?" I guess apparently she was like,
ready to go.
Taking the trip to Pound Town the entire time she's there, and he's like, no, because I guess she got like a hotel or something. I don't know. Sometimes I miss segments. She got a hotel. He wouldn't go to the hotel, so then she comes and stays with him, and then he makes her stay in a separate room, and she's all like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And then she kept
after
saying
5 years, they don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah. So
my tolerance level for these people is like this.
I know. I'm like, did you not talk about it? So this girl has a hair trigger, and she blames everything.
It's better than a hair
in the
lip.
world on everybody else. Hair what?
Lip.
Hair lip? Did you say? Oh my god. So anyway,
maybe that's why she talks funny.
And she's probably. And she said, and she's like, and his sister starts saying to him, she's really nasty to you, And so he finally speaks up and says, I wish you would, calm down and whatever. And so then she starts railing against all the sisters' undue influence, and she's trying to separate them. I'm like, no, girl, you're just a nasty bitch.
Go back to your chickens.
That was a thing. So everything they do there, again, so they take her to an open air market, and they're like, oh, we're going to get dinner, whatever. Well, open air dinners, they buy a live chicken. And she's like, and they buy it, and she's like, oh, hi, little chickie. And then she realizes after they buy it, she's like, they're going to kill him. She's like, you better not. She goes ballistic with this weird face and weird voice, and they're like, that's what we do in this country. And she's like, you better not. I don't know. Whatever.
Why I oughta.
And so, and so they're like, okay, we're not going to do that. And then I got tired of this bitch. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to watch your segments. But then they end up having a blowout because the brother and the sister and brother-in-law are like, yeah, dump this crazy bitch. And so he does, but she keeps saying oh, you did this to me, and you did that to me, and you dumped me, and you're terrible, and you're a horrible human being. And she's going on about what a horrible human being he is. And this guy is as meek as a mouse, sweetest
and blind,
thing.
For God's sake.
And blind, exactly.
Thank God he couldn't see her, because he'd probably be like, oh, boy.
Oh, I know. He couldn't see the rage coming, but
right.
he could hear. Maybe he just thinks that's how she sounds. And but she was going on and on, calling him horrendous names. I'm like, did we not do the homework on this girl?
After 5 years.
Yeah. But also the producers. I mean, So I heard she's not coming back on the tell-all reunion because she's so vile. They're like, we don't even want to talk to you.
That's pretty incredible if they won't. Because usually the vile people they love to bring back because there's people want to see them.
Like Big Ed. But no, I mean, she's horribly abusive. I mean, you're yelling at a blind man, telling what a vile, horrible creature he is. And I'm just
and you're like, no.
I don't think so. So anyway, that was those. But don't you think that they didn't talk about this shit beforehand?
It's inconceivable to me that they wouldn't.
Apparently, though, the way she talks, and then her libido is in overdrive. Like I said, she thought she was going over there to Pound Town in Nigeria, and she is
looking around.
I'm thinking, and I'm thinking that they must have had phone sex or
something.
FaceTime. I mean,
well, except he can't see her to see that she's out of her mind.
That would have done him, but
I mean, she could see him, and she was probably attracted to him, but maybe he was just
right. Yeah. So
FaceTime with a blind. I should not be laughing.
Well, it's just not fair. That's all.
I mean, maybe
she's missing out because he's got that braille thing going on. He could find anything.
Exactly. Let your fingers do the walking.
Come spell your name.
They had to have talked about religion and his being. Right. They had to.
Right. So
So she thought she was just going to be like, oh, I'm just
super sexual. Yeah. And he's like, no, we cannot do this. And I'm like, did y'all not? Yeah.
And I wonder what was the plan? Were they going to come back to the States or would? Because that's what I don't understand. When people leave their country, it's like who's staying where? You want to live in Nigeria with your in-laws? Probably not, or with your. Yeah.
Well, see, I think his was going to be I think that. He was going to come back with her because she was yelling at him at the end about you were just doing this just for a visa. And he's like, no, I really did love you, but you're awful.
Right.
And so she's just throwing shit at him or whatever. So I think he was going to do that. But here's the other thing too. There's some of these people that have deception about who's going where.
Right.
Like this one on this other show. This one, I think, is the other way. I don't even know. Maybe this one was. I don't know what the fuck. The guy's name is Sarper, and she's
Sarper. Do they have any?
God, what the fuck is Shekinah?
Shekinah.
What?
Did they have normal names? No.
No, that's the thing. So he's Sarper, and she's Shekinah.
But name, I can't even tell which one is from the States.
Right.
Sarper, he's from Turkey, and she's from.
Albuquerque.
Some
turkey and Albuquerque.
White bread. Yeah, right. And she's got all the lips and the filler and
sounds
the
like a sandwich.
I know.
Get out turkey Albuquerque, please.
On whole wheat.
Hold the Shekinah. And so
Shekinah, that had to be a tough name to grow up with. Listen, get your Shekinah out of here.
She's kind of nice, but
she kind of nice.
Kind of gets it.
She kind of not.
So he's kind of the vile one because he's keep telling her right from the get-go that he slept with 2,500 women.
That's a lot.
And he won't.
Liar.
And he had this whole liquor bottle collection in his house. She goes over to Turkey. He's got this bottle of liquor collection that he refuses to throw away because each bottle had something special
to do with one of his 2,500 chicks.
Yes.
Because you can remember all of them.
He kept. I know. He kept a black book.
See
with
this
all
Coors
of their
Light?
names and.
This was
Coors Light. This Natty Ice was my favorite.
That right.
See this ham.
That was in the 7-Eleven parking lot.
She was special.
On the Jersey Shore. Yeah, and so he had this whole book. I mean, this incredibly insecure guy that he had to keep all of this shit from all the way. And she's like, I want you to get rid of this bed. I want you to get rid of this. I want you to get it. And he wouldn't do it. So finally, and he was really super controlling. And so finally,
as Turkish men are wont to do.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, like is this your first time dating a Turkish man?
And so he wanted to weigh her when she first got there. And to make sure her weight. So anyway, so somehow this guy turns a corner. So this one, I'm thinking there's possibly a little bit of embellishment on all this stuff because all of a sudden he turns. Then he decides he doesn't want to go back to the United States at all. And this is what he's told her he's going to do. So he proposed to her, thinking that would change her mind because he doesn't want to go. He wants to stay in Turkey.
He wants her to stay there.
He's like, maybe if I propose, it'll talk her, and she
on that
and she
sticky
gets
bed.
to meet all my family, and she'll want to stay. And I'm like, oh, that's a marriage built on a great foundation.
I think people should live in different counties, don't you, Madge? Like the Kirk of Dunn, the Haven of Fairness,
and fair. Exactly. Yes. That's why I do.
That's way better.
I changed my whole self for my ex-husband when whole family.
Right.
When I was married 34 years ago, and I got rid of all my friends. I toned down all my, kooky ways, and I, conformed and everything. And then now I'm like, I'm not letting anybody tell me
you're back to
anything.
Kooky, which we like.
I am crazy.
My marriage worked out really well for me because I kind of ended up not having very many friends by the time I got married, so there was no one really to.
Everybody was gone.
They were. Most of my friends moved away.
Hit the refresh button.
They moved away to go to college and this and that, and just moving away in general. And I was working a lot, and traveling with my work, so I suddenly realized I was like, there's like no one around here. So I moved to Rochester.
You're like, I'm going to marry somebody that has friends.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yes. We're homebodies though. We don't go anywhere, and we don't want to.
Well,
that's Christopher now.
Sit home and watch. I don't like reality show, but she'll have those. So she probably has seen all of these that you've been mentioning.
Yeah, sure. I mean, to me, it's just. Well, I love pop culture, and those things are so ridiculous, but they're also like a soap opera. And John has a fit when I want to watch him because he's like, I don't want to watch this stupid shit. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't really care. I don't want to watch the 18th football game of the day.
Right.
Or I don't want to watch your shoot 'em up, blow 'em up war movies. So,
come on.
But it's just mindless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
And
exactly.
Quite honestly, it makes me feel better about myself.
Right. Because you're like, I wouldn't do that. Makes you feel smart. And
exactly.
I got my shit together compared to these assholes.
Right. I would never do that.
Oh my God. And so there's a couple other ones. I'll just, because we're running out of time, but I'll just mention real quick. This one guy, they just started kind of like mid-season, this Joe and Magda, and he's like some kind of Jersey Shore guy, moved down from New Jersey to Florida, and he's, like a finance bro or something, or realtor or something. And then
like a man
he
in
met this
finance.
Girl. Yeah, and in a fleece vest.
Right.
And he met this girl, and she lives in Poland, and again, she's really hot, and she was like a college volleyball player or whatever. I don't know. And so
nice.
She's very pretty.
Calm
and
it down,
very
Fitz.
Handsome. Yeah, and
I like Polish volleyball players. That's my kink.
So, it's obviously this very, and she wants the kielbasa.
Kielbasa.
And, oh no, she's got,
I'm Irish. It doesn't work.
Anyway, so they had this, obvious physical attraction right away. But as now he's planning to go over there and visit her, it's kind of obvious that he's just was going over there for Pound Town, and she's wants a husband.
Oh.
So
isn't that what fiancé part of the whole thing is, though? Don't they both want husbands and wives, or is that not? One of them has ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at first it's kind of weird because some of them, it's very obvious. Like, I don't think they are going over there to be married, but some of them are. I don't know. So she's all like, he's like, oh, I'm going shopping for my trip. What should I'm at the drugstore. And now this is very obviously a setup. And he's like, oh, I got to get some of this. And he's like, oh, should I bring condoms? And she's like, no, I'm not sleeping with you on this trip. And he's like,
what? I came all this way?
Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, I, want to have children. And all of a sudden he's like
children?
Brakes are screeching.
Like kids, children?
Yeah, she wants to have kids, marry and have kids with them. And then, so anyway, and
that's the first time they've ever discussed that.
Yeah. So there's that. So there might not be a second visit with that one. And then there's another one that I feel this girl, I feel bad that I don't quite know the countries, but like he lives in like Croatia, I think. And she emigrated from Bosnia when she was a little kid from the war. And so they kind of have that whole, and so, she lives in Florida, and he's like 38 years old, still lives with his mother, and confirmed bachelor, real non-committal guy. And they're like, oh, we want you to get married, please. We pray the rosary every day. And she's like, we've been, she's all like, I'm over there. We're looking to see if we want to get married. And he's like, she gets there and he like immediately friend zones her.
Oh.
And she's like, are you not attracted to me? And he's like,
you're
not
fine.
Yet I don't know. Pretty much.
Yeah, you're fine.
And she's like, he hasn't even kissed me. And the first night he wouldn't stay with her at the hotel.
Oh geez.
There's just all this weird shit. And then the last episode was they went out to meet his friends, and she's like, what's his deal? Because he doesn't want anything to do with me. And they're like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. But his name is spelled Bozo, B-O-Z-O. But I think
I know. Bozo I think it's
Bozo or something. Yeah, and so
listen,
they're
Bozo.
Like, yeah, they're like Bozo. That's not right. You're not, and you're like, they're like, lady, don't waste your time.
Oh, jeez.
And so she storms out. So that's where they.
And that was the end of that. But how do they not know this? Like, they had to have seen each other.
Again, I think there is a bit of flubbing on the producer's part, but I also think there's a bit of these people get really super carried away because I did it. I had people that I was kind of talking to online, and then you meet them in person, they lived a few hours away. Yeah, and you're like, oh, this is so great, and I can't wait. And then when you meet, you're like,
there is no chemical.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And
then all you want to do is go home and get in your jammies. Yeah.
Right. And
like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Right. That was that was like probably 2002 to 2012, 13 that I was,
Of course, you're going like a few minutes down the road and they're going to Bosnia. So that's the difference.
Right. But also back then it was like you had to count on somebody having a webcam because not all the stuff. And everybody's like, oh, I don't have one. And they didn't have one because they don't look anything like what they. Right. So now you kind of can't. Nobody has an excuse. With every laptop has a camera. Every phone has a camera. You know what I mean? So the ones that still fall for the catfish, you must be a special kind of stupid.
Profile picture is from 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And they only have one picture and they never change it and they'll never send any more pictures and they'll never, it's like you are a special kind of stupid. So anyway.
Is that you with Burt Reynolds?
I know, right?
Yeah, really. And I had some on our next episode. I'll tell you all about the times I got catfished. There's some really entertaining ones.
Oh, you really you did?
Oh yeah.
Aw.
2 times quite bigly. Yeah.
Bigly.
So, whatever.
So Chris will have you on again in 2 weeks.
Tweaks.
And
like Chuck Woolery.
Fortnite.
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm so upset. Someone would catfish you. Because you're such a lovely person that someone would do that to you.
But it was back in.
Thank you. Well, I mean, there wasn't. It was. There was. It wasn't like there wasn't any like the aught 8s or aught. It wasn't like send me money.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't send me money catfishing. It was just like, I'm this hot guy and I have all this money and whatever. And he's like,
none of that is true.
Not
Did he
even
have
remotely
a golden
close.
Retriever? No, I'm just kidding.
Inside joke. No, actually, oh God.
No, we won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go. We won't go there. And so, oh my God, that's so funny. So yeah, so we'll do that on the next. The other one, the big one, and I'll give you the update because they didn't even cover this couple last week. They're going to do them next week. It's a guy. His name is Lauren, and I don't even know where he lives. And he's from America, and he's not especially attractive. But I guess he's gay. But I think he'll just like fuck anything that moves.
Oh, jeez.
So he's into all this, open. He wants an open relationship with this person, and he hasn't told them.
He trisexual.
Yeah,
he
with a Y.
Try anything. Yeah. And so the person that he's supposedly in love with is a trans woman in the Philippines.
Oh, gee.
So as they call a ladyboy.
Oh.
Have you heard that in the culture in the Philippines? So it's very common. There's a whole culture of ladyboys. They're trans women. So they're born men and they are now living as a woman. So
which I can't imagine is like accepted.
But so
in the Philippines, they're
but
like
it actually is.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's its own little subculture there.
Okay.
It's its own subculture.
Because I know they have a lot of like really weird culture wars over in that part of the world.
Yeah, and she's lovely. Her name is Faith. There is a whole sex tourism thing with ladyboys, but she's not in this. So it's
I heard about that with that guy from Subway. Jerry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and Gary Glitter too. Cause I think that was Thailand.
Where do you think the tuna comes from?
So anyway, Lauren, I guess he's gay, but he's attracted that she's trans. So she hasn't had an operation. She still has all the equipment. So they would be having
she's like
as if they
best of both worlds, really.
Right. So. So she didn't know that he was still stooping everybody in town. He goes to the Philippines and announces that he's got gonorrhea.
Oh, God.
So he doesn't even want to kiss her or hug her or whatever. But also, to add to it, he goes over there. He hasn't told her that he wants to stay and live there. She thinks they're just meeting. He goes over there because he lost his job and he's homeless.
Oh, and he wants to move in with her.
I haven't told her yet that I want to stay. Yeah. So dude he's basically a hobosexual. He's going there because he needs a place to live.
Oh my God.
and he goes over
in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, and he goes over there with $40.
Oh my God.
Because he goes to convert his money, and she's like, well, how much do you have? We'll take to the bank. And he had $40.
Oh
and she's
God.
like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Although you can buy a lot in the Philippines with $40, probably. You can buy a house.
Yeah, I'm guessing. And so he's like, well, no, I will stay here and take care of you all. And she's like, with what? She's like a traditional, hardworking Filipino person that's got 3 jobs. And she's like head of housekeeping for a hotel and lives in like a storage room in the hotel.
Gosh.
And, and works night and day, and she's working her fingers to the bone. And Lauren's just like, yep, I'm going to come here and live with you. So she's like friend zoned him, but they still had a trip to meet his parents. And,
oh my gosh.
And in the coming for next week, he's like, well, same sex people can't get married in the Philippines. So what if I marry your mother? And she's like, and they cut away.
What?
So, yeah.
Yeah, that happens. That's a.
It's so absurd.
What if I just marry your mom? Nice.
Right. I never had anybody
Would your
say
dad
that
mind?
to me.
I know, right? Or both your parents, right?
Exactly. And then the funniest thing, just on a side, that's obviously they're both gay. I mean, you know how that sometimes, they say gender and sex aren't necessarily whatever, but sometimes you're like, because we know people that are, one's a trans woman, one's a trans man, but one's post-op, are you attracted to women, you attracted to men, what is so there's a lot of that. So them, obviously he's attracted to trans, so he still likes the gay aspect of it. So anyway, they start talking about sex, and he goes, what are you? I'm a bottom. And she's like, oh, I'm a bottom too. And they're like, how's that going to work? And it's like,
although she still has, her equipment, so.
Well, right. But I mean.
But yeah, right. Like nobody discussed that before either.
They both, right, exactly. You both have men junk, and that's it. So.
And that's all you got.
Somebody's got, right, exactly. So.
Oh my
again,
gosh.
Did you not? I think he just thought, since she's a trans woman, that
get the best of both worlds. Yeah,
she was. I don't even know. I'm going to cut that part out
because I don't know.
Anyway, I just don't know. So anyway, I think that's going to be enough for today.
I tell you what, though, I sure learned a lot.
I did. It makes me want to watch these shows now.
They are so absurd.
I feel converted.
They're so absurd. And, John's like, that's not real. I'm like, of course, there's aspects that aren't real.
Right,
but
because
I really
it's all
think
script. It is, they have to draw it out of people. Yeah.
Right. There's certain things that because I've heard, I know people in the business on the periphery, and I know you do too, Fitz. Like I know people that are production assistants and all kinds of, crew like that. And they'll be like, yeah, these things. And even some of the stars have come out and said, because they've kind of loosened up on the NDAs and say, yeah, they set us up to shoot, and sometimes they'll be like, okay, now talk about this. Oh, now they're breaking down the fourth wall a little bit more, where they're even having they're putting in the clips of the producers asking the questions. Like, did you talk? What do you think you're going to say to Dorit when you see her? Are you going to talk about? Why don't you talk about the whatever? Dead puppy. I don't know, whatever. I'm not, so they set it up. So I know this is, but I really think this one, I think these people get a free trip to where
they have to. So I mean, they must. Yeah. All their travel must be covered. And
we had a person on a podcast that records here at the studio, and they had a guest. The guest was someone who's been on some other reality shows. I won't say who it was. Not like a real famous person, but well known in the sort of reality show world.
Right.
And he's kind of known to
probably know them.
You probably do. He's kind of known for being a dick. Like he's just like kind of a douche. And but he was being really nice on the podcast, and we're like, this doesn't make any sense. He's like, well, I'm not in character. Like that person you see on the reality show is a character that I've made. And it was like,
exactly,
reality show.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I saw that a lot of these people, like there was some reality star or a housewife that went on the Below Deck, the one where they go yachting, and I can't. The guy her husband was just an insufferable asshole, and everyone just nailed this guy to the wall. Like what an asshole he was. And then they finally came out and said, "Look, okay, they tell you to play it up." So that's what I was doing, because the guy was like literally counting out like $1 bills of what he was going to give the what do you call them? The crew as a tip. Yeah. And they're like, okay, they told him to play this up. You know, this is what they do. They kind of came clean because he was getting so much backlash. Yeah. And it was very obviously, this guy was not a good actor. It was very obvious that he was putting on this persona, and I know some of those people. Yeah. Like the whole House of Villains and Rural Rules, whatever. Yeah.
Actually, House of Villains is where the guy is from. One of the shows. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I said it, but I don't know if you heard me. You wouldn't say anything if I did say the right name, right? I didn't hear you say a name, but I said Richard Hatch. Oh no, it's not him. Hatch. Oh, okay. He was the guy that won the very first Survivor.
Yeah, yes.
I remember him. I remember. It's one of the
gay
few
dude guy.
Yeah. Yuck.
And then he went to jail for a little bit. He got sent up the river for tax evasion for a little bit.
They never learn.
No. It was my accountant. Yeah. Maybe you should fucking look at something once in a while.
I know, right?
Anyway.
Anywho, sir.
Well, this was a lot of fun today.
We learned a lot.
I know you did.
We totally did. I'm going to be thinking, I'm kind of like, find some of these episodes.
Actually, I lied. That's not on a reality show. That's everything that happened to me in a Saturday night.
Oh,
right.
At the Bachelor Forum.
I think, you know what, Madge? I think you should watch the shows, pull your favorite clips, and then we'll play the clips here on the show and discuss. Oh. That would be a lot of fun.
Do you think we can do that?
Yeah, sure. Well, you absolutely can.
I'll discuss the particulars with you about that, because that sounds
that would be kind of fun.
It would be, because
I need to see Tigerlilly, because I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning a little Indian girl and a pirate.
And she looks a lot like a cartoon. Right. An animated person.
Oh, Tigerlilly.
Yeah. She does. So, because I tell you, the last time on a couple of episodes ago, when I mentioned 90 Day Fiance, Fitz, I think it was just me and you, and I was like, my marriage was kind of like that, and boy, did I get a lot of hits on that one, because I was even going to tell you about, I had like a whole bunch of other shit to talk about today, but
part 2 coming in 2
part
weeks.
2, exactly. Okay. This was a lot of fun.
Don't you have some?
Everybody come on back for part 2. Chris, you got anything coming up?
My life is it's really busy, but yeah. We're busy. Don't you have any news?
I'm glad.
Don't you have some? Or we can't do the news anymore because the news is so bad, right? That you can't say.
That's right. Right.
Oh,
you can't do that. Well, I do have. I do have a piece. I have one news story. This just in. Where the hell did it go?
Oh, jeez. It's going right. Walter Cronkite.
Exactly.
Trump has nominated Mehmet Oz to oversee Medicare and Medicaid. Dr. Oz from TV. TV's Dr. Oz is now going to be overseeing Medicare and Medicaid. So
I swear to good God in heaven.
God. Well, Robert Kennedy, who dragged dead animals, is going to be Health and Human Services. Good thing he didn't appoint him to the head of animal control or ASPCA.
Whalehead?
Whalehead.
Don't you think we could have picked all these people if we had really thought about it and done it like as a Saturday Night Live skit? We could have come up with all these people ourselves.
Exactly.
The script is writing itself,
and then
really.
Butthead is I honestly don't think he's going to make it past.
Oh, it won't. It won't because I'm going down there.
No, not Chief Justice. Attorney General.
Attorney General.
Gates.
Yeah.
How many pedos can you put in?
Right.
He's not assembling a cabinet. He's creating a junk drawer. Hey.
Oh my God. It's a very sad day. I know. We have to be very careful.
We do have to be careful.
Well, it's true because now this kind of a podcast with saying salacious things about the government, we could be locked up in a room and they'll throw away the room.
The whole room.
The whole room.
And this room is silent, so nobody'd ever know.
Exactly.
It's the quietest room
I'm in my house, so you lock me in here, I'm just fine. I'll order DoorDash and Instacart and shit.
Oh my God.
So, all right. While you're here, please subscribe to Madge Unmuted here on YouTube. If you're listening, subscribe wherever you're listening. Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, whatever, Spreaker. And please join us. Yeah, you brought her, you streaker. But please subscribe on YouTube because then I can get big money, no whammies. Anyway, thanks again for joining us on another episode of Madge Unmuted. Come back in 2 weeks when I tell my favorite catfish stories that happened to me. Hey, they're a hoot. Okay, for
Don't
Fitz
pollute.
And for Fitz and Chris from Rock Fox Studios. Have a great week and happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you next time on Madge Unmuted.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.